we have a new rule, and that is taking everything that people say about color with a grain of salt. So much of it is opinion based, and color needs vary based on the project, the medium, and the application. Color is an experiment, and it aids and abets us in visual communication. Color theory, which we don't have to take with a grain of salt, we can really rely on it fantastically, is a reference toolbox, and a big one. It gives us language that we can use to discuss our ideas about color. It gives us a set of tools like the harmonies that help us quickly understand how to accentuate, create contrast, enhance with light or darkness, and drive attention to our focal points, establish style, and enliven our artwork. That means there's no right or wrong way to use color, but there are absolutely strategies that we can apply to help us understand color and work with ease, because we love a little ease. Otherwise, color is an experiment that you will be unraveling for the remainder of your artistic journey. No, seriously, there's like millions of colors. You're never going to touch them all. Isn't that kind of disappointing? Oh my God. Because of that, play, observation, and unwavering dedication to your color preferences are your ongoing superpowers. Staying true to your opinion about colors transforms your work and adds a unique touch that's only available from you. So how do we get started coloring our portraits? First, when learning color, I could not recommend more that you use a medium that you're already familiar with. That removes the added layer of complexity that comes from teaching yourself a medium so that you can focus strictly on learning color with less frustration. I like to get a base of midtones over the entire portrait before I move towards shading. This gives me an idea of how the colors interact, because the appearance of color is incredibly relative to the colors around it. By getting a layer of midtones down first, I can make sure that nothing's skewed and I'm heading in the right direction with my color palette. Then if I find a major problem, I can go ahead and course correct before I'm too far along in the process. If you're digitally painting or you're using paint, the first coat does not matter at all. You don't have to worry about being perfect because you know that you're going to paint over it again. First coat bullshit. We know we're going to go for another pass, so we can just get it on as quickly as possible, reassess, and do what we need to do before the second coat goes on. So as you build up color concentration and shading, you're going to have a ton of time to mess up on the first few rounds, the first few passes. Done is better than perfect. Get it poppin', sis. So each different item on your portrait will need at least one highlight, midtone, and shadow color. And by each item on your portrait, I mean the hair, the lips, the eyes, clothing items. Each item needs a color with light to dark values that create depth and allow us to move the portrait from flat to having the illusion of depth and form, which is really what we want. We want people to pop off that page. In general, colors that are cooler or have a cool undertone work better for shadows, whereas warmer colors or colors with a warm undertone work better as highlight shades. Now, that is not a hard rule, but in a pinch, it's really useful to know that. That can quickly guide you in the right direction. And honestly, a lot of times with art, that's what we need. We're trying to manage so many skills at one time. In a lot of ways, simplicity is your best friend. If I were you and you haven't already, before I got started really trying to teach myself how to do portraits, I would look around a lot at different portrait artists and the way that different artists portray skin tones and their work in general. It's like going to a buffet of options and different representations of skin, and it's going to be delicious. I'll show a couple that I absolutely adore, one of which is Roxy Peroxide, gorgeous oil paintings. And then this one, I can't remember his name, but holy crap, one of those beautiful representations of skin tones that I have ever seen. And what's amazing about it is a lot of it is due to the hatching. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Finding what appeals to you is part of the journey of finding your style, and this will help you get a grasp on the results that you want to achieve. Because let's be real, we're all kind of going to be seeking a little bit of something different. By the way, have no worries about finding your style in any way, shape, or form. I know a lot of artists say that you have to find your style, but I disagree completely. I actually don't think that you can escape your style. I think it's haunting you. I think it follows you around everywhere you go, and it evolves over time. I think style is more about trusting your creative instincts and staying true to the curated choices you're making in chunks of moments over time. Famous artists have different eras, as we know, and so will you. There's no way that you're going to exist on this great earth and your style is not going to change. I said what I said. At me. Once you know what you want to achieve when you are representing skin in your portraits, it's a good time to get started. I'm a pre-mixer. I want to stop as little as possible while I'm painting to mix more colors. Mixing colors takes a while, and you can streamline your process by mixing in advance. So if I was you, I would go ahead and mix a warm tone gradient to match the skin tone I was working with, as well as a cool tone gradient, minimum of 2. That way you can get started with midtones, shadows, and highlights all at once without having to do a bunch of in-process mixing that disturbs the flow of your painting process, which is sacred, baby. So once I have my midtones complete, I've got a good idea of what's going on in my portrait, right? I can see it coming together. And then I start to work from the background to the foreground. That way I don't ruin the gorgeous completed work that I want the audience to pay attention to in the front, while I'm trying to finish the supporting actress that is the background chilling in the back. I'd rather paint over top of a completed background than have like an established gorgeous focal point that I then have to work around real carefully so I don't mess it up while I'm just working on like the old BG. That being said, I also totally move around. At some point during the painting, I just start moving around, and you'll develop an instinct for this, how to move around without messing yourself up. But just know while you're teaching yourself, order of operations matters. It does help to streamline the process. So think about what order works for you, because like I say in every episode, this is really hard. So adaptation and discipline are both the move. You'll be choosing, mixing, adding, and correcting colors until you get it right throughout the entire painting. So just accept that as part of the process. We want to eliminate as much frustration. I mean, I have fun while it's happening, but that doesn't mean it doesn't come with difficulties that can be frustrating. Problem solving often comes with frustration, and that a lot of art is just problem solving. Know that you're gonna make mistakes during the process. You're gonna pick the wrong color. That's part of it. So if you accept that before you start, that's also gonna make your life easier. Let's look at some of the different colors that actually create various skin tones. These are called color studies, and the more familiar we are with various skin tones and the more that we understand about colors and color mixing, the easier portraits will become. Remember, this is trial and error and experience. So just have fun. Just have a good time with it. You definitely don't have to get it right the first time. In fact, you're going to have to do it a whole bunch of times. But that's what makes you confidence. Confidence is not an inborn trait. It's something you get by doing a good job over time. Not just doing something a whole bunch of times, but doing it well, or doing it the way that you want to, or that aligns with your values. So let's talk about color tips that will help you with portraits in general. First tip, complementary colors neutralize, meaning if you mix 2 colors that are opposites on the color wheel, you're going to get some version of a neutral, from brownish to beigeish to even in the gray zone. That is super helpful for mixing and muting or desaturating various tones. 2, analogous. Analogous colors, or colors that are beside each other on the color wheel, look gorgeous together, and using them to build highlights or shadows in a certain area can be absolutely stunning. The multitude of shades in the same value adds a visual richness without a loss of depth. 3, you can take artistic liberties with color to enhance or even mask certain elements to guide focus or make a point in any piece of artwork. 4, you're going to want to get familiar with undertones. Portraits are full of neutrals, beiges, browns, blacks, and these neutrals have undertones like yellow, olive, purple, orange, red, and blue. Being able to identify the undertones in neutrals is going to give you a little secret weapon in being able to create harmonious skin tones and be able to communicate what you want. It'll help you build contrast. It'll help you build that visual richness. You think that you're just looking at beige, but you know, the artist has really captured different levels of like the varying skin tones and found ways to enhance them using color. Is one of those things where the viewer is not going to be able to necessarily name it, but it's really going to add a lot to various things like the contrast, the volume, or like the physical space, the mass that it feels like the head is taking up. So even neutrals fall into categories of warm and cool, just like any other color. And being able to identify those undertones and pair them with coordinating colors will help you create even more interesting color choices that not just please the eye, but excite the eye in ways that feel invisible to the viewer, which is incredibly masterful, wouldn't you say? And remember, you don't have to get everything right in one go. We're doing a series on my channel right now where we practice all of the different facial features. We're going to move through the upper body, hands, arms. Those are all opportunities to practice skin tone. And really, if you're aiming to be a portrait artist or any type of illustrator where you draw humans, you'll be studying skin tones for the rest of your life. There's no better time to dive in and keep the process going. Make sure you show me your colorful portraits on the gram with the hashtag Mastery with Carter. And don't forget to tag me at Carter Sams, because I want to see your color studies. And you can also share your best tips and tricks with me because I want to know what's in your color arsenal as well. Don't forget to subscribe. I post a new video on the last day of every month. Again, right now we are learning to draw and paint the natural world, focusing on humans. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you very soon. Bye. Oh, go use your powers for good.